Islam was first brought to the lower Indus Valley by the Arab governors of the Umayyads in 711. Sindh was conquered by the commander Muhammad bin al-Qasim al-Thaqafi. This foothold was retained during the next 3 centuries. There were also trade contacts between Arabia and the Persian Gulf region and the coastlands of peninsular India, namely Gujarat, Bombay and the Deccan coasts. But these sporadic and superficial contacts hardly affected the interior, the overwhelming landmass of the subcontinent. It was the Turkish Ghaznavids who first brought the full weight of Muslim military power into northern India, overthrowing powerful native dynasties like the Hindu Shahis of Wayhind, reducing many of the Rajput rulers to tributary status and raiding as far as Somnath and Benares, although most of those rulers who submitted threw off their obligations as soon as the Ghaznavid armies went back. Mahmud of Ghazna became an Islamic hero for his attacks on infidel Hindustan. The Ghaznavids did take over the Punjab and made it a permanent base for the extension of Muslim power through northern India. And towards the end of the dynasty's rule, Lahore became the Sultan's capital. Hence, there existed a springboard for the Indian conquests of Mu'izz al-Din Muhammad Ghuri and his Turkish slave generals in the last years of the 12th century and at the beginning of the 13th. After eliminating the last Ghaznavids, he expanded into the Ganges plain, attacking local Rajput princes such as the Chahamana king of Ajmer and Delhi, and then the Gahadavala king of Benares and Kanawi. Among Mu'izz al-Din's commanders, Qutb al-Din Aibak was placed in charge of the Indian conquest during his master's lifetime, when the Sultan was involved in Khorasan and elsewhere. Aibak held on to the Ghurid conquests in the Punjab and the Ganges Jumna Doab, and raided as far as Gujarat. Another general, Ikhtiyar al-Din Muhammad Khalji, penetrated into Bihar and Bengal, making Gaur his base there, and he even attacked Assam. It is thus in the period of the Ghurids and their commanders that the permanent establishment of Islam in northern India begins. Long-established Hindu dynasties were humbled and the foundations of various Muslim sultanates laid. When Mu'izz al-Din died in 1206, Aibak assumed power in Lahore as Malik or ruler on behalf of the Ghurid Sultan in Firuzkoh. Henceforth, Ghazna and the Afghan provinces of the Ghurid Empire were severed from India, falling briefly to the Khwarazm Shahs and then to the Mongols. But Ghurid traditions of both civil authority and military organization lived on in northern India under the succeeding Muslim rulers there. The Delhi Sultans, Aibak and his successors up to 1290, are often called the Slave Kings, although only 3 of them, Aibak, Iltutmish and Balban, were of servile origin, and all had in any case been manumitted by their masters before achieving power. Nor did these rulers belong to a single line, but to 3 distinct ones. Under Iltutmish, the real architect of an independent sultanate in Delhi, Sindh, formerly in the hands of the Muizzi general Nasir al-Din Kabacha, was added to the Delhi Sultanate. He also managed to keep the Khwarezmians out of his dominions, but the Mongols overran the Punjab in 1241, sacking Lahore and advancing as far as Ukh. A succession of weaker sultans brought internal discord, and the unity of the sultanate was only assured first by the regency, and then by the independent rule of the capable Balban, who had been originally one of the famous band of Turkish military slaves known as the Chihilgan. Balban continued the work of his master, placing the sultanate on a firm military and governmental basis by his reforms, and exalting the authority of the sovereign on traditional Perso-Islamic lines. Spiritual links with the rest of the Islamic world were strengthened. Already Iltutmish had sought investiture from the Abbasid Khalifa al-Mustansir. After the demise of the last Khalifa in Baghdad, al-Mustasim, the Mu'izzi sultans long continued to keep his name on their coins. In this way, one can discern the motif of identification with the wider world of Sunni Islam and acknowledgement of the moral leadership of the Caliphate. Such threads run through much of the history of Muslims in India, and reflect the struggle to maintain their identity against the pressures of the enveloping Hindu environment, even in modern times. Important, too, As a fertilizing influence in the culture of this period were the waves of refugees such as scholars and religious figures from Transoxania and Persia, who fled before the Mongols and found their way to India during such reigns as those of Iltutmish and Balban, and in later times also, such as the reign of Muhammad II bin Tughlaq. Infusions of fresh blood continued to revitalize Indo-Muslim religious life and culture. The Delhi Sultans left an indelible mark on the architectural landscape of India. Their legacy includes some of the most iconic structures, such as the Qutub Minar, Alai Darwaza, and the tomb of Iltutmish. These monuments reflect a blend of Persian, Turkish, and indigenous Indian architectural styles, showcasing the rich cultural amalgamation of the era. The intricate carvings, grandiose domes, and towering minarets stand as a testament to the artistic and engineering prowess of the Delhi Sultans. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.